What, there is no better place to watch motorcycle racing and Motogp in the world than here at track.
Look at it.
Michele Pirro.
Yeah, you can kind of just see how it just sweeps all the wind around, just visually. I'm not exactly sure what the concept is, but
Jack Miller is going to come across the line. He became the first rider to overtake Marc Marquez in a race since the opening Grand Prix might not meet the necessary stringent safety requirements, especially with some of the top speeds we're expecting this weekend.
And at the moment, we've only done one lap. It's going to be taken over. So, looking at after this first lap, I would say yes.
Depends how hot it gets, because if it gets really hot, then that just affects
Petrucci there, butt out of the seat, kind of right before he started braking. You almost have to stand on the pegs and let the bike do its move in the braking area. If you run middle of the track down here, you'll see he'll get far over to the right, hit the paint, and then from that point on, you're trying to get straight.
Through past where the Rossi fans will be sitting, through Poggio Secco, then you go left and right. This is Materassi.
And look at that top left there, 47.8. We're 3 laps in from Pirro, but 47.6, I think, is the fastest race lap by Marquez.
Marking of Alex Rins with 350 kilometers per hour, which is about 320 miles an hour.
And he's 4K in front of Miller, so I'm assuming he had at least a bike or a couple.
Going to be able to go on board. No, maybe not. That is Pirro wheeling. This is the new aerodynamic part they've got on the rear. They said before this weekend that Pirro had to say to his technicians, but it doesn't look dramatic, electronic or something.
Yeah, there's something going on that we don't know about.
There for Pirro, you can see they're taking off that. Well, they're going to have to take off that new little bit of rear fairing attached to the bottom.
What they do on the front of the bike, they've got those just on the lower side of the bike. It's not new technology. If you're a cycling fan, you'll have seen it in triathlons.
And that's, straight off the bat, 47.8.
New air intake and new fairing for the Bradley Smith was here. Iannone and Espargaro, I don't believe were here before this race, but they are allowed more testing, of course, as part of their concession.
Then you shoot for maybe top 8, then top 6, but it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Sporadic.
Yeah.
It's you don't know from race to race where you're going to be.
Well, it was Jerez where he didn't start the race, but still, they're expecting more. A little bit of a wobble on for the front of Fabio Quartararo and his Petronas bike.
Yeah, that's what happens when you wheelie.
Right, we're on board with El Diablo himself, Fabio Quartararo, who really has lit up the start of this season with some of his performances. Okay, 8th last time out in France.
Hold on.
And I suppose, just as we had him on screen there, we've got to give a doff of the cap to Pol Espargaro, don't we? With the progress they're making with the KTM.
14th, I can't remember.
They all finished in the points. I will say that. Okay. All 4 KTMs were in the points last time.
Okay, so you can say they're making steps forward.
On course for pole, he had the pace, and it's just not there for Maverick as things stand.
We can say, who's the first Yamaha?
With a 328, you're giving up 22 kilometers per hour. You're talking there nearly 15 miles an hour. Yeah, 14 miles an hour down the street. Arrabbiata won't tank anymore. No. It's a tail section, pretty much.
Which I remember when they started doing that in the Yamaha, and it was as goofy as it was. Like the fuel tank was right there in front of you, and then
yeah, a lot of people don't realise that thing sat on top of the bike for most of them. The front part of it now mostly is airbot the issue that they didn't feel they could run at all. Oh, wow! Sideways into San Donato. That's not how to take turn 1, ladies and gents. Suzuki's here this weekend. Just seen Alex Rins' name pop up as we take a look at Mark around the track. We talk about how sweet that bike is in terms of handling and loves a fast corner. Sahara-san, who is the project leader for Motogp, was away for a couple of years. Well, of course, when Suzuki weren't here, even when they came back, but they brought him back into the fold, and it seems to be paying dividends inside, where Jack Miller has made no bones about the fact he wants to be in that team. We heard his interview earlier on, and just in the body language and the way both Petrucci and a factory bike.
And a factory bike. So, is it going to be a big difference for him to go to the factory team? It's going to be more pressure, that's for sure. And I like what he says.
It was a mistake. because he didn't. And actually, once Dobby's passed, it's
You
almost
can't get by him,
impossible to get past him again. And he said, I ended the race, factory bike effectively, in that Pramac team at least next year. That's in his deal. So that makes it even more interesting.
Yeah.
Will Pramac take 2 factory bike? Will it become an extended machine? Yes, they've got the engine, but they've got front-end stability issues here and there.
Yeah.
Well, he knows with the 2018 bike where he's at.
Yeah, and exactly.
He's round and maybe up towards turn 2 and 3. So the left-hander there. And he's already on his way back. It's not easy to get back from that part of the track.
Oh, that's big end right there. So
The party. One thing I seem to remember over the years is that Aprilia can build a bike. You can tell me this morning. They can build a bike that's powerful. Whether it lasts, goes right up there. The Aprilia of Iannone on Vignales, but Vignales very solid on the brakes down into San Donato, into Arrabbiata. I try and work out corners. I'm going round there. I'm thinking, yeah, it's a Arrabbiata 1 and 2, up and over the rise. Over 200 miles an hour.
whoa.
But a decent start to the session, you have to say, for the second Italian factory. Espargaro Aleix is in 3rd and Andrea Iannone in 11th. So that's the questions here, Colin. I don't know. I thought this weekend we might see something from him. Winner here last year, let's not forget, on the Ducatis. Like, he is thinking, you know, I thought I might be able to win at some point this year, but it's getting further and further away from him. But
to the Ducati, and then coming over here and having to adapt in a completely different riding style. You're asking a lot from a rider.
Because I always think blue flags in practice, who's to say who's when? And Marshall Star say just to warn that there is someone behind you more than anything. But I do still find it comical. Too much for Mark to worry about. This is how it was on board with him. With the left-right combination.
Actually 4th and 5th, so the Aprilia engine's quite strong. They're actually about 10, 12 kilometres an hour faster than the Yamaha. So if they're going for increased drag, they're actually probably working a little.
Michael, you got any info that you can find out for us?
Haven't heard anything about the engine as yet, but looking at the aerodynamics, so Aprilia, they're the second.
The Aprilia, Yamaha, also Suzuki a little bit, have this really quick, kind of choppy.
Now he's up into 6th. He is 48.0. He is within half a second.
Whoa.
Wow. Yeah. Petrucci.
What was the motor has? And you're having to handcuff it a lot to try and make it smooth.
Yeah, one of those things where if you start. Oh no, it wasn't. I misread that there.
Yeah, well, it looked like he was just trying to stay with the draft, but did not expect
too much on the rider in front.
Maybe just a little bit.
Do you know what? Carol Abraham just went through on the time screens up into 16th. Most of the others out on the medium tyre. Haven't really talked about Valentino Rossi in this section. And he goes through in 12th place down.
On the Suzuki.
On the Suzuki.
12.5
miles per hour.
That's crazy.
Miller's on another word to him at Pol Espargaro. They had that weird moment a couple of laps ago. Petrucci up into second. 47.7. But at the end of it, we're still talking about Marc Marquez on top of the timesheets on his 5th lap. Didn't improve at any point.
Yeah,
and the lap coming in there. Interview with Alex Marquez to come at lunchtime. Then, of course, second free practice sessions.
Too many dramas though for Petrucci. Was second behind Marc Marquez. Filling in a little Espargaro there, Aprilia in 5th place. Then it was Jack Miller, Taka Nakagami, Pol Espargaro, Cal Crutchlow and Andros down in 14th. Franco Morbidelli 15th. Some real top speed issues evident for Yamaha this morning around Motogp World Championship. Marquez Well, he clocked through the speed trap this morning at 213 miles. Well, silly season, whether you've got one or not. It doesn't tend to lack drama and intrigue in Bologna. Claudio Di Menicali, Davide Tardozzi, Paolo Ciabatti and Gigi Ligna, well, they'll have a special...
Miller as well. He is the younger rider, perhaps. He's got a bigger future ahead of the game. He's so hard to call. They are.
I think it would be extremely harsh, as we mentioned this morning, as we pick up now Jack Miller, the man who's competing and contesting.
Marc Marquez, because they really are coming into full effect at the moment. It's Jorge Lorenzo that goes quickest, but not for long. Marquez.
It's exactly why I came to see Mayo. Mayo, what do you think? You know, I've seen the timesheets and the factory Yamahas.
We improve some area, especially in the tire life and the drivability of the bike, and we know, but to manage problems in another way.
Mayo, so often, you know as a rider, so often...
we can change the specification. We have to keep this...
Fastest Yamaha through the speed trap, but he was only the 16th fastest motorcycle. He came through it, you can quite clearly see around Mugello and in Barcelona, as Maya Merigali points out, a long first top 6 in the drive since Valencia 2016, when of course he was on the Tech 3 Yamaha, and with a bit of slipstream behind Rossi down that long. Miller, Dovizioso and Petrucci, Pirro rather, 3 of the Ducati GP19.
That's the big thing, and he believes in himself.
Tell you what, Steve, I mean, Valentino Rossi must be absolutely sick to the back teeth of the sight of Jack Miller. That GP19 makes up its time.
Across the line there, no improvement for Miller or Pirro or Nakagami, so up even more.
Exactly, I mean, talk about motivational tools. Well, that's what Marc Marquez does. Petrucci comes, lost a bit of time in that 4th sector, but he's into 4th place. The big leg tangle from Petrucci. I remember speaking to him after the race, Steve. You know, the post-race celebrations in Mugello are some of the...
The man at the top of the timesheets at the moment. Dovizioso comes here with 87 points. That is more than any other start.
It's green. We say green when you have no rubber down, so this is damage more the tire. But in the other ends, the medium and the hard, they are working very well in the front.
Just also notice that Lorenzo has the medium front. He looks like he's trying to keep that. Is that like last?
This is another part of a project that is a bit more wide than what we see so far.
We're probably going to see that on the bike of Andrea Dovizioso and Danilo Petrucci if all goes well.
Well, it obviously worked at the test, because otherwise...
As I mentioned earlier, qualifying has to improve. In fact, I did some stats on this. We were talking about this glorious record Marc Marquez has in terms of good positions.
He hasn't qualified in the first 2 rows this year, has he yet?
He's made up 39 places from his original...
Kind to Suzuki as well. You need a long memory to rewind back to when Suzuki were last victorious.
He's just gone up into 6th place and got himself into Q2 overall.
Ducati GP19. Petrucci stays in 4th place, 147.
This could go close, although he just loses it there in the final sector. Johan Zarco, well, what a disaster.
Oh dear. Blimey, bits flying off that KTM RC16. Thankfully, it's rider non-stop.
But his approach to each weekend is not matched or mirrored by anyone else. He's got his own way of doing things.
There, every single time. You never see him have an Alex Rins day where he's 19th on the grid. A bad day.
Riders like that, I would have said Fogarty was like that in World Superbikes when I rode against him. Doohan, you know, at the end of it. So, yeah, it's very valuable in a team.
Yeah, you know what, I think as well, Steve, he switched tactically this...
After the race at Le Mans, who's Marquez crew chief, and he was saying to me how this race, and you know, I think to win at any sport, that's how you have to be.
The rest of the session, because we're getting to business time here, and we'll probably get a load of social media hate for rabbiting on for too long, but he's up to 4th at the moment.
Yeah, that's a decent lap time coming in from Viñales. Marquez remounted to finish 16th. Was the last time he actually finished a race and wasn't on the post. Did that mistake or that loss of rear grip coming out of Biondetti too, cost him quite a bit of time. So there he is
out with a soft rear by the looks of things, and he's going to give a little bit of a time attack. Well, at Qatar, opening race of the season for Joan Mir, 21-year-old from Mallorca, 8th place. And Wagaro earlier on, he's intense. Johan Zarco, though, he had a big crash, didn't he, at turn 14. Simon's down in pit lane with some info.
One next to your name, those 5 spills, including that bizarre one in the morning warmer, which, well, it perplexed him.
An okay lap here, hard front, medium rear, 3/10 down in sector 3, although Yamahas are losing. 19th up into maybe top 10 contention across the line, just misses out, 11th place.
Late race pace, it's just that grunt off the corners where they're lacking. They've definitely made strides with that rear tyre line. 1:46 lap of the weekend here in Mugello. We are almost certainly going to be on board.
Off tyre for a push here.
Yeah, conditions are really good. We didn't see a 46. Well, it wasn't a 46.
A bit of pressure off yourself going into free practice 3 tomorrow morning here in Mugello. Cal Crutchlow's the Argentina, really, since the whole jump start. It was a good race in terms of home Grand Prix, of course, for Team LCR, and Crutchlow lifts himself up into 4th. That's not a bad.
He stays in 8th place. So the Ducati GP19 struggling for time in that 4th sector between the top 3, top 4 now, because Maverick Vinales, there he is on the number 12 machine. He's up in a 2nd place now thanks to a 47.
Polispargaro across the line as well for KTM, and he goes fastest. What a lap! The first into the 146ers then for the Red Bull KTM.
146.863 comes in then from the Italian. Quattararo's on an absolutely stonking lap.
He was on a good lap as well, only a 10th down in sector 2. How costly could that?
6.3 is the benchmark time for Petrucci. Quattararo over the line, and he does go top. A brilliant 140.
Too hot. And in the end, had to almost lay it down on its side to
prevent from the Italian, who's just desperate to get a decent result under his belt, back-to-back off the pace, but it's so tight MotoGP, it's only good enough for 17th place.
Oh, what a lap! Where has that come from?
From Quattararo.
Well, who would have thought it? And Davizzi's out then. Let's see what Morbidelli can do here. Can he guarantee himself a spot in the top 10 with this? No. Rins is still on a decent lap. Absolutely loving it. 1 minute ago, he was a bit sad to see Jack Miller down. But then
colours and your rookie's fastest of the day. How does it feel?
The feeling is, yeah, of course, it's all
in the first 2 places. Danilo Petrucci is leading the factory Ducati charge. Polispargaro on the KTM in 14 on the circuit. Well, that would be a massive fillip for his confidence. This man
he'll come back fighting tomorrow. Brilliant pace though, as ever. He doesn't look exactly that happy either, does he?
A confidence boost for this young man. But Pecco Bagnaia, the rookie, with the big surprise on the opening day here. Jack Miller took a late tumble, but he was 9th ahead of Franco Morbidelli. Look at some of the big names not in. Miller was 9th despite a late tumble in FP2, and Franco Morbidelli, the Italian. Manzarco 12th on the KTM, but look at that, Valentino Rossi twice on pole here in the last 3 years in Mugello, down in 18. We'll come back to the point about Petrucci very, very shortly, because we can pop down to pit lane for the first time on this glory.
Felt more fresh. There is no fever, but just still something. But I think he's going to be.
Andrea Iannone, who was down there with Rossi and Lorenzo. To see,
just checking his shoulders there, turn number 11.
That's where Zarco is, and they did make some adjustments so that he could get that final corner right, and it seemed to work out okay. Here's thriller Jack Miller then. Crash yet
from his Pramac Ducati package yesterday.
And strong lap times coming in already in this free practice 3 more.
Batties with Simon.
Paolo, thanks for near the mark. He's making a closed, zipped mouth. Someone else is struggling. Is that a reasonably accurate guess, or am I off?
Chabati there, and to Simon Crayfar for asking the questions. No surprise that they're keeping their lips shut.
Cautious, because nobody's cautious at the start of the race, but they've said to him as Marc Marquez fires in the fastest lap of the weekend of 46.
The tactics of races seem to have changed somewhat. It was a discussion we mentioned. They're not saving tyres at RT team. They say absolutely no way. Quattararo's staying put. He will be riding that bike.
They'll be locking him into some kind of multi-year contract if they possibly can. He's got a good lap going.
Job, isn't he? He's bucking the trend at the moment. You just wonder, don't you, with his riding style? You've got to believe that
Quattararo comes over the line. It's a 147.228, so it's not as close as what we've. Oh, maybe that's where he's going wrong. Well, yeah, I mean, weather terms of weather. Now, KTM, they had a phenomenal French Grand Prix in Le Mans a couple of weeks ago.
Around and find that it was not, I wanted to know whether it was the carbon swing.
Big plus was his lap time came relatively easy without flirting with too much danger. So the bike that they would have set up for him based on the changes and the feedback that
his one lap speed was absolutely nowhere, and that they've got quite a few things to test today to try and work out what at the moment.
But can he get himself inside that top 10? He seemed pretty confident he could do that yesterday, but he has got a bit of work.
No improvement for him. He stays 12th, the number 21, and Jack Miller there doesn't improve either. Both on it. Not so long ago in qualifying, it's crucial that Dovizioso's on that front row.
So here's Andrea Dovizioso with a couple of Ducatis behind him, Tito Rabat being one of them, Michele Pirro now through Biondetti 1 and 2, slide in that Riatini corner. So Jack Miller well on course for the top 3, if not top spot. But now he only picks up 1 spot, so 7th place.
Brand new soft rubber on, nonetheless, that is impressive stuff there from the Japanese rider. That's only a few tenths away now from
his handlebars higher, and I think they're really trying to work on the braking area, trying to improve that. It's
here lost time in that 3rd sector. He won't improve. Likewise Pirro, likewise Rabat just behind them.
Petrucci's on the hundredths now is Miller's advantage compared to Nakagami's pace at this stage of the lap.
Tito Rabat's just behind.
5.76 over the line now comes the number 30. It is a fraction faster, 1:46.4 yesterday afternoon to get the soft tyre to work.
Well, he's never been great around Mugello either. He's 7th, struggling in sectors 3 and 4. This lap won't be an improvement either. He stays. The Frenchman, the rookie, across the line. Quartararo goes to 2nd, a 46.498.
The 2.
Marc Marquez then, who it has to be
6, 4, 5, 6 and a big threat.
Across the line for Quartararo, and again he loses it.
First time Lorenzo's gone for the soft rear tyre and he's made it pay. Sneaks into that crucial top in a row, Steve, that he's been absolutely awesome in the first 2 sectors yet again. Just to see where we're at. This is Nakagami hard on the anchors. 340 kilometres an hour for him. Quartararo to the line.
No, he's done it again, but
Mir was surrendering, so let's hope he's found something this time around, because he's going to need it to force the issue inside that top 10. 9th, 3rd in 2017 was his first ever dry race podium in MotoGP. The big 0.56, top of the timesheets and the all-time lap record here in Mugello.
Across the line he goes into 6th with a 46
on the cut-off point in 10th position, and he does not improve. Improves his lap time, but not his position. So Dovizioso,
independent riders in the top 10 at the moment. Here comes Rossi. He improves, but not enough. A 46.9 for Valentino Rossi. That
the finish line. Pirro over the line. Only moves at 1 place to 14th. So this man, Andrea Dovizioso, at the moment can breathe as they drop down into Scarperia. Not a lot of time between Petrucci and Marquez here. Biondetti too as well. So not as good by a great deal. Across the line for Marc Marquez. And to keep an eye on Steve is Vinales, because he might be Vinales, but he does go up into 9th place, and that has indeed nudged Andrea himself.
Does he nudge Marquez down 1 spot? Across the line for him, he does. He goes up to 5th.
Jorge Lorenzo there just at the top of your picture. He's on the money in sector 1 as well. Oh, Cal Crutchlow's crashed. Miller goes up 3 spots, 7th to 4th place. Ever 1:45 lap of magnificent Mugello.
He delivers so often when it matters, doesn't he, Marquez? Valentino Rossi
finds some speed, so does Jorge Lorenzo. Marquez online, he goes 2nd. Surely
he was only a 10th down in sector 3, and nothing's flashing up on our time screen, so I'm not sure what's happened to
Oso, who, to be fair, is on a flying lap. A lap that will be good enough to put him inside that top 10, although he's lost time, no dramas. He's in to Q2. Morbidelli moves up into 9th place.
Dovizioso then on a
Dovizioso's got nitrous fitted, then surely he's not going into Q2. He's not. And rubbing salt into his wounds, the fact that his teammate Danilo Petrucci, who's not in peak physical condition,
the doctor, I'm sure our guys in the truck
just missed his braking marker, didn't he, completely, Valentino Rossi. That's what cost Rossi.
He did have a bit of a panic on at one stage. Nakagami, amazing job from him.
Detti 1 and 2. Lean angle. How nervous and how side curve. It was actually the rear, wasn't it? He was so October, but what a session, a record-breaking session here at magnificent Mugello. Danilo Petrucci's one.
Que está lejísimos comparado con su compañero de equipo, está a 1.1 de Paul Espargaró, que ha conseguido meterse directamente en la curva. Ahí va a salir
un dedo, no hay problema con los discos grandes aquí para frenar. Pero sí que esta deceleración es brutal. Muy
increíble.
Fuerte. Ahí está la frenada. Vemos que hay...
Esta es la de la 1 que decíamos.
Sí, hay varios estilos de frenada. Vemos como Valentino frena con los 4 dedos. Hay algún piloto que frena con
76-2-78, están a 70 milésimas en concreto.
Mira.
¡Oh!
La caída ahí de Zarco.
Caída de Zarco, todavía no había terminado el entrenamiento, el piloto francés.
Bueno, cosas que pasan. Y no hay...
Ya, Valentino, recordemos que fue decimotercero en Jerez.
Mira,
vamos a ver quién supera la Q1. Ahí viene Dovizioso llevando a rueda a Tito Rabat, que está ahí. Si lo hace Dovi y echaría Rins. Ahí está Dovi Pirro. Tito Rabat al final cuarto, se queda fuera de la Q2. Alex Rins va a tener que salir.
Eso no ayuda. Alguna décima.
Lo tomo de otra manera y aquí le tenemos ya para luchar por esa pole que también quiere Marc Márquez. Recordad que hizo la pole. Curvas complicadísimas, rapidísimas. A veces ahí de este cronometrado de esta Q2 para el primero y el segundo del mundial. ¡Uy! ¡Cómo la venía rápido ahí! En escarpería Palacho le ha metido la moto. Marc Márquez ahí a Dovizioso.
¿Cómo viene?
La cara de Domenicali en el garaje del equipo. 45-8, baja una décima y 47 milésimas, décima y media por el Petronas ya baja. El equipo. Están flipando. Maverick Viñales segundo ahora. Esta mañana y ayer, ahí está enganchadísimo. Incluso le puede ayudar que está Vicioso. Marque, vamos a ver el tiempo que marca. Pasa por línea de meta primero. 45-5. Primero Marc Márquez y vamos a ver que por detrás viene el Diablo. Y al final Quartararo se queda segundo. Marc lo hace. De Italia, llegó aquí con gripe, llegó con décimas de fiebre, parecía que estaba un poquito atrás y ahí está la alegría de Santi Hernández.